L'Art d'Aimer, a French film. It was yesterday on TV5. They have this channel, international, available across the world. Once in a while, they have their. I mean, every day they have their journals, and they take from TF TF1, TF2, something, the nightly news, and they broadcast on TV5. And at the end, they change the city or the place to which they thank. I mean, we thank our viewers from Jakarta, from Bulgaria, from Buenos Aires, things like that. So they have this across the world, which is good because we get news, okay, from from the first perspective. French are negative. That's interesting. At one point, I don't know, these days with the pandemic, at one point, among the richest, the OECD, the richest countries in the world, they were the most depressed, the most negative. And the Economist had an article, I guess, recently, I mean, months ago, speaking on this issue and saying that it is tasteful to be skeptical for the French. It's in bad taste to be so exuberant. Joie de vivre, all right, but not. I mean, don't exaggerate it. It's chic, cool to be blasé, to be skeptical. Okay. Besides, we have a club downtown, and the French, because the French embassy was close to it, the French ambassador used to go there. Maybe the one of now. I think she's a woman, so we don't see her in the sauna. The sauna is separated there. But in our men's sauna, he was there and talking about this. I guess it was the time they mentioned these statistics, and he said trains that arrive on time don't get at the news. So part of the problem is the news, because we keep hearing that's how bad things are. And so that's part of the reason why he was saying. And he's right. I don't know why it affects the French more than others, because they all have that. And indeed, one way to improve well-being is to avoid watching that. So another thing is l'art d'aimer, to use this art of loving, which is the title of this film they had on TV5 yesterday. Interesting, though peculiar. One is tempted to say, to talk in cliches, okay, cliche. One of them is that the French have this peculiar way of dealing with the relationships. They have the ménage à trois, and it's now in part of international language, I guess. And I don't know in if they use it in places where you get killed for something like that. Let's say Saudi Arabia, and no, maybe they changed that. They only kill journalists in Istanbul in the consulate, and drug traffickers. I don't know what the rules are, if they allow, after all, women to drive. I guess if they're escorted or something. So the art of loving, l'art d'aimer, should be a French specialty, and they should have interesting ideas, and they have their own way. That's what came across the mind of this viewer last night. I mean, in France, that should be okay. Some are just cliches, of course. I mean, I've had a long experience with them. My daughter has been with a French high school for about 14 years, I guess. Well, let's not get into that. Strangely, for other lands, I guess, part of this film. There's this experience. At one point, this woman has a best friend, man. He's obsessed with her body, just her body. He maintains, and so they have a French idea to see about this, to get over this, or to experiment, or to just be French. I don't know. To make it funny for the movie, they do this. They say, okay, let's do this. We'll go to a hotel. You go first, the woman, and then you make sure it's in the dark, and then I come, and after they make love, he goes first, and then she will leave, and well, they'll see if that's solved. If they find something, if he gets over this, and she's willing because she's married, but for the French, that's, I mean, ça va, eh? And she wants to keep him as a friend, I guess. But she's finding she finds a trick. Maybe she had this all along in her mind. She sends a friend. After all, it's in the dark. Use my perfume. I'm 169, you're 168, 168 centimeters. Okay, so she's going, and then he wants again. And she says no, but then convinces the friend, and they do this again. He says he's in love. Strange. She's trying some other experiment, so the film is interesting. Okay, let's have them meet in reality. Once when she's passing, they both have a library. It's, I don't know, 2004 or 5 maybe. It's at the time when there were libraries. Amazon hasn't taken over everything. Well, there's still a few, but small libraries like theirs in the movie, very rare, I guess. So they both have libraries and they have something in common. But when they meet, there's no sparkle. I don't like him, she says. Maybe she will eventually. I'm not in the vain hope, 1 in a billion chance that you see this and want to see the movie. No spoiler. I will not get into details. So maybe she will like him in the end. But the first, they made love a few times. They don't know it. Okay, it was in love. He thinks he made love with his friend, the one he's obsessed with and thinks he loves. But he has no interest in this strange woman, and she says the same. Now, let me give you not all, but one element which comes, and it's a bit shocking for them, for us, funny. So the film is very interesting and good, I'd say, for at some levels anyway. As they continue with this experiment, they're in the dark, but then the fire alarm sounds. So he pushes the lights on to evacuate, not to die in the fire. There's no fire, but there's a fire. And they see each other. He sees it's not the friend he thought, they see each other. They see who it is. From here on, I won't say what happens, but very interesting film.